Hey there, comic book fans. No comic shop for me today, my usual day, because of yet another snowfall. So I won't get to go to Saturday this week. So I figured I'd make a video with the John Byrne tag showing my 3 favorite John Byrne comics. And I have to go back a long way to find some favorite John Byrne comics. The last thing I read regularly by him was the Fantastic Four in the 80s. I think in the 90s I read Danger Incorporated that he did, and that was it. I'm just not that terribly interested in, though he's one of my, like I said, he used to be one of my favorites. Since I stopped reading in the, I don't know, late 80s, a lot of Marvel and DC superhero stuff, that's mainly what he does. So I haven't read a ton of his stuff. But so I figured I'd start with the obvious, his X-Men. And I was trying to pick out one issue of the X-Men that I could show. And I ended up with 113 only because it was so much more battered than all the other issues around it. So I figured I must have really read, because there's 112, and that's in, none of them are, these are all from my childhood, so none of them are in perfect shape since I read them. But look at how much worse 113 is than 112. That's 1/3. Look at all that chipping along there. I must have read this one a ton. And it's the second part of a Magneto storyline, where in the first part, he takes down all the X-Men. And of course, then in the second part, the X-Men have to take him down. Wonderful splash page. Old newsprint. Got a feel to it. And this is the first issue we find out, I think Storm used to be a thief. She breaks him out with it. All of a sudden, she's got a lockpick set in her headdress. No one ever knew that before. And he made them all into babies, basically. Because in an issue of the Defenders or something, Magneto got turned into a baby. Oh, the 70s. So then when he got growed up again, he decided for his revenge he was going to infantilize all the X-Men, which is what he does. Then, of course, after he, the classic story of, after he takes them out, they escape and, they all work together and take out Magneto. And this is also the first time we're seeing Dark Phoenix, or she's still just Phoenix, but first time we get a glimpse into her being really powerful. Colossus got his helmet. Where's that one with there's some I think it was the one before it. It was the first one where all of a sudden Dark Phoenix is like just starts really kicking butt. Like she nearly kills Magneto, but then she runs out of power, and that was the first time we're like, whoa, this new Jean Grey is powerful. So then they all team up so they can see, he's got to distract Magneto, he's got to throw him, he steals his helmet, they punch him around, blah 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 blah. But anyway, this was a really fun issue. Like I said, the 112 was the setup, was Magneto, another great splash, taking down the X-Men, and then we get the X-Men taking down Magneto. There's the classic underground base where John Byrne photocopied one half of this and flopped it. I remember him saying that in another book. Where's that Phoenix page? This is also one of the first times we see Storm can really, kill you. Well, there's it's Phoenix. That's where the bird starts to form around her. And she's like, oh, Magneto's actually scared. But then she runs out of power and gets her ass kicked. And that's the end of it. There's he's making Wolverine cut himself with his own claws until he just punches him. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. But anyway, for the first favorite John Byrne, we're going with 113. Just because it's the most battered. And for the second, we're pulling out something different. If there was a logo there, you would see Doomsday +1. And what this would... Back in the 70s, newsstand distribution, if you wanted to it was a credit system so that they sent the newsstand 10 copies of Doomsday Plus One. They only sold 5, so to get credit for those 5 that they didn't sell, instead of shipping the whole book back, they tore off the logo and sent that back. And often that's where coverless, they used to have to tear off the whole cover, but for some reason they changed it to just the logo. And then some people sold these on. I have no idea where I got this from 1975. I probably got this one after the X-Men. Someone gave it to me. And the reason I like this one so much is that I remember getting this one and going, wow, this is older work by John Byrne that I'd never heard of. Still some very John Byrne looking robots there. And I was fascinated by the fact that artists developed over time. And you can see that guy right there, not one of John Byrne's better drawing. He didn't quite know what he's doing yet. So I remember being a kid and being fascinated that it mattered when an artist drew a book. Whether, there's different periods. And this was early John Byrne. It's about a Doomsday Plus One, about a bunch of people who survived Doomsday and found a caveman. Story was all right. I think Byrne may have even written this. But it was different, it was fun, it was action-packed, and it gave me it gave me the, a sense of time, a sense of an artist as a person developing, not just kind of an artist being fully formed in a comic book. He was, originally and it looks like this was a marker or something. John Byrne, 1975. But yeah, I really I can remember finding, this was the only issue of Doomsday Plus One I had for years. I think they reprinted some of them when Byrne got popular, some small publisher. But, look at that big ink splot on there. I think this was a Charlton comic. They didn't have the greatest, Charlton. Didn't always have the greatest paper and printing, but hey, they knew to get John Byrne to do stuff, so there's number 2, Doomsday Plus One, number something. Let's see if it says Doomsday Plus One, Volume 1, number 2. So that's my second pick. And my third John Byrne story comes from The Art of John Byrne, which came out 1980? When did this come? 1980. I can remember getting, he said I was, what was I, 14 or 15 at the time? And it was, wonderful interview with John Byrne, all the sketches of John Byrne. Nice classic angry Wolverine John Byrne drawing. Drawing from the X-Men. But in the Batman, I remember always liking that Batman, and I don't think John Byrne had ever drawn Batman before then. That may have been the first John Byrne Batman I had seen. But in the back we have all sorts of sketches, and where is nice full color piece? Here we go. Critical Error. This is a wordless story by John Byrne that is just so wonderfully done. I love this machinery he did here. All this, I don't know, Mobius-esque kind of, but machinery. Like I said, not even a script in this one. He does it all in words. Well, that wonderful drawing. Man, love all that line work that he just, wow. And tone work. Then we get nudity, which you never saw in regular John Byrne work. Keep in mind, I was 14, 15. This is before the age of the internet, too. You didn't get to see nudity anywhere in everyday life, except for in this John Byrne story. And by the way, I think this astronaut here is supposed to be a self-portrait of John Byrne. Impressing her by shooting. Ah, yes. But then he kills a bird and scares her off. Like I said, he tells the story completely, works 100%, even without, you know, everything that's going on, even with no words. You can follow everything, no problem. There's no time do you say, what the heck is going on here? It's just masterful storytelling. Excellent, excellent stuff. Oh, and there's a color piece of that drawing. Oh, epilogue. He ends up by himself in the spaceport, lonely and wondering if he made a mistake. But there's a baby. Dun dun dun. But wonderful story, art of John Byrne. If you can find this, I don't know if they ever made it available or not again, but looks like I even had to tape it way back when because it's falling apart. But there you go. My 3 John Byrne issues that I like. Was that X-Men 113, Doomsday +1, number 2, and Critical Error and the Art of John Byrne. Ah, if only there wasn't all this snow.